You know, ladies and gentlemen, in 2022, by my count, there's more than 24 comedy and drama shows produced by the CBC for Canadian use and international use, like in syndication. Some also go to CBS, ITV, some go to the States and the CW. But in 1973, there was a very weird amalgamation show called Purple Playhouse. Now, Purple Playhouse was a Sunday night review show, a dramatic review, that ran for a few months between February 25th and May 6th of that year. Now, this hour-long program replaced the White Oaks of Jalna. We all remember that, of course, in Canada, a primetime soap that was cancelled about a half a season. This program offered imported dramas from Europe and the United States with a gothic theme to them. The show's title referred to Victorian-era melodrama. The 8 shows were produced by George Jonas and Patty Sampson. The stories were adapted for television by such writers as Mavor Moore, Rod Coneyberry, who did Dracula, Herb Rowland, Alan King, and William Little. The titles included Dracula, the Bram Stoker version directed by Jack Dixon Brown, and Sweeney Todd in a pre-musical version. Other titles were The Corsican Brothers, Box and Cox, The Bells, The Lion's Mail, and Used Up, based on a comedy by Dion Bochico. Featured cast members were the great Barry Morse, Tony Van Bridge, Gilly Fenwick, Chris Wiggins, Eric House, Norman Welsh, Blair Brown, Paul Harding, Betty Lytton, Joseph Shaw, and Kay Hartray. Louis Applebaum composed the musical score for the series. Now, the episode that our great follower of the channel, John Walco, wanted us to review was the Dracula version, which appeared on March 25th, 1973. Now, to my knowledge, this is the first color version of Dracula on the CBC. Now, adapted again from Bram Stoker's novel by Rod Coneyberry, who played, get this, the voice of the Friendly Giants, Rusty, and starred Norman Welsh, who was Mr. Rogers' resident Santa Claus as the Count. According to RetroOntario.substack.com, this Dracula remains a curio remembered by few and coveted by many. Now, the interesting graphics of the Purple Playhouse look very close to a CBC style. Now, you can find a video of Dracula on YouTube. Now, according to the site, part of what makes researching this supposed lost CBC gem so difficult is it has been completely overshadowed by 1973's other TV version of Dracula, the American effort starring Jack Palance and directed and produced through the Dan Curtis Group. It was this event was written by Twilight Zone scribe Ruther Masterson and directed by Dan Curtis, of course. Now, the BBC also held a TV miniseries in 1977, which I've seen, starring the debonair Louis Jourdain as Count Dracula. That was a more sexualized version than this one. Now, all 3 1970s TV versions share many traits. Shot in cramped studios, low budgets, and a vibe of Tom Baker or Doctor Who. Not a bad thing per se. However, the Palance and Jourdain versions have enjoyed home video releases and multiple repeats over the years, while the Welsh CBC version was aired once and probably disposed of. As with all of CBC's Purple Playhouse serials, which included Sweeney Todd, the Corsican Brothers, and the Bells, it was introduced by legendary writer Robertson Davies. Now, Davies, known for his legendary full British accent, this is on full display, purportedly acquired after spending a year on the boards at the Old Vic Theatre in London. The production itself is much more faithful to Stoker's original novel than the US or UK versions, and Welsh's portrayal much closer to the book's count than either Palance, too hammy, or Jourdain, too posh. In fact, Welsh's Dracula is similar tone to the Claes Bang interpretation seen in the recent BBC Netflix series Dracula, created by modern Doctor Who showrunners Mark Gatiss and Stephen Moffat. Now, there's a heavily edited version of it, and the promos on CBC included You Ask For It, and Norman Welsh stars as Dracula. Now, considering the enduring popularity of the character, there have been over 200 film or TV adaptations, second only to Sherlock Holmes. It's a shame that the CBC haven't attempted to commercially exploit this item even as a cult item. Now, guess who played Van Helsing? The very debonair and very talented Nehemiah Persoff, who gets #1 billing in a TV guide plugged from the time. Jonathan Harker, played by Dan McDonald. Lucy by Charlene Blunt. Mina played by Blair Brown. Ooh. Jack Stewart playing Stephen Sutherland. Mother by Maud Whitmore. Bride 1, Marcella St. Amant. And Bride 2, Marie Romain Alamo. And Maid played by Ita Darcy. Now, Dracula director Jack Dixon Brown again went on to direct the classic Ghost Station episode of Littlest Hobo, which almost took place entirely on the TTC, or Toronto Transit Commission. So I haven't seen this Dracula in a while. I've seen a Jourdain version, but if you know what CBC, it's going to be dark, it's going to be atmospheric, and it's going to be well put together, because CBC had some of the best techies going. Not the greatest plots or scripts, but good cinematographers. And there's, like I said, there's a Doctor Who style vibe, almost like not a 3D, but a 2D plus a half D. But Nehemiah Persoff is Van Helsing, a very Jewish Van Helsing. Nehemiah Persoff, again, if you don't know who he is, look it up. All I can say, if Nehemiah Persoff, you can find any role he done in the 1970s, is always quite good. Also, he was on episodic television, including Star Trek, Y50. Again, one of the best actors ever in world history. And pound for pound, one of the most underrated actors. Thanks for listening. Bye.